from Jim France to Ed Bennett to myself to all of the IMSA staff members, we're a group of racers. And much like everybody who's been a member or a competitor at HSR, we're just so pleased to have this new partnership. We've been seeing successful HSR events for a long time, and we expect to be part of doing the same going forward. So the core is strong. The feedback from so many of those who race in HSR is extremely positive. So for us to come in and make sweeping changes doesn't make any sense when it's been running so strong and efficiently to this point.
I feel we got some of the best stuff in the motorsport world working for HSR. A lot of them have real day jobs, but they like to do this on the weekends and give up their vacation to do this, which I think says a lot about their dedication to the job. And I look forward to keep working with them all. Some people have stepped up and took on more duties, and I think that's wonderful. So I'm thrilled that everyone wants to stay on board, and we haven't got to make any big changes with the staff for next year.
I think people that have been members or competed with HSR on select events have come to expect a certain cost to go racing, and so once again it would be very inappropriate for us to come in straight away and make sweeping changes. One of the sayings we even have at IMSA, the top level of endurance sports car racing, is to keep an efficient model, not just for ourselves, but for those who are participating. The people that compete in HSR have a common passion, the same common passion that all of us at IMSA and David and Ed and Mr. France and I have talked about. So, why change that? That's really the common core for the whole operation.
When we first made the announcement, I had a lot of calls from different people worried about big price increases, and I reassured them that wasn't going to happen. I'm not saying that the price is never going to go up, but they're just going to stay what the market can stand. And I think everybody feels the same way about that in all the vintage race groups. So no big changes there. And to be honest, I think we give great value for money. The amount of track time we offer for the entry fee is probably unprecedented in the vintage racing world. I mean, we give night races, special races. So I think we're still giving great value.
The variety of classes for the audience is spectacular, from some of the open wheel classes to certainly all of the sports car classes, from small bore to big bore to even a NASCAR category. That's what the audience is coming to see. They're coming to see pieces of artwork, cars that have terrific heritage and lineage do the on-track entertainment. Of course, there's some things that we do at IMSA events like hot lap rides and other experiences that we could add on during a downtime, but the fact of the matter is the audience that's coming to the events or the audience that's checking out clips on social media, they want to see our sports history in action. And for us, that was one of the key parts of doing the partnership was to continue to celebrate not just IMSA history, but the history of motorsport.
Yeah, I think for our premium key events, we need to keep it vintage only. I think that's very important to me and more important to the members and the racers. So, when we first started talking, that's something, was a top priority of mine before we put this deal together. But, to be honest, I have a couple of smaller events where I'd like to have another platform run with us. Right now we have one or two groups sharing the weekend with us, but it'd be nice to have an IMSA platform. That's something I'm going to try and pitch to John. I'm an IMSA fan, and like we say, IMSA makes historic cars every year, so it'd be nice to have some of those come and join us at HSR.
Well, for the competitors, they may plan out their season to take their historic piece of artwork to go run a select group of circuits that they want to check off the bucket list places to drive their car. As David said, there's pillar events at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, Sebring, Daytona International Speedway right outside the door here that people have come to expect to see HSR content. If there's an opportunity, and we'll work on that with David and his team, and hear feedback from the customer base of places they may want to go race. No plans to go to someplace new, certainly in the 22 season, maybe in 23 the customers will be calling for another place to race. We'll discuss that, we'll work that out, but date and venue equity are important for people's planning purposes. And then if there becomes a couple of key venues that the majority of the group would like to go and we can make that work out together, then I think bring it on if that's what the market is asking for.
I'd say it's probably the hardest part about the job is aligning the schedule for each year, because there is so much competition these days for track dates. I think we have one of the best schedules out there, and there is room for a little improvement. I don't want to run events just for the sake of running events. We're thrilled with our calendar. I'm especially proud of having the Rolex Monterey Motorsport reunion on the schedule as the sanctioning for that event. We look forward to keep working with the folks out there. And like we said, Daytona and Sebring, Road Atlanta, Barber Motorsports Park, we've got to maintain them relationships and hopefully build some new ones.
I think to add to that, frankly, from our side, if there were an opportunity to, at a big IMSA weekend, bring some samples of HSR product to put on a demonstration for our current fans so they understand the heritage of where HSR came from and where some of the IMSA history came from. So a bunch of cool ideas, none that we're going to execute straight away. We're going to take time to get to know the entire community and what everybody values and try to work on that together.
Yeah, I think all motorsport fans love to go back in time, relive some memories, whether it's a car, a driver, or a racetrack. And to be honest, I think vintage racing is the only sport where you can go back in time and kind of recreate those memories of your hero. I mean, you can buy a car like this GTP car and go drive it around Daytona or Sebring like Bob Tullius did. I mean, you can't go to Lambeau Field and throw a football around. I mean, it's just not possible. So I think vintage racing really is the only sport you can do that. I think that's a big bonus we have.
David and I walked over from our office and said, it's very fitting that we're able to do this in the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America, not just behind in front of the sports car module, but to have all the other artifacts of the sport here in this building.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep looking at the camera when I see all this eye candy in here. I think it's Malcolm Campbell's Bluebird over there, set land speed records on the beach at Ormond. Mike Hellwood's motorbike. I mean, there's just so much history, and leaning against Bob Tillis's GTP Jag here, I think is very special.
Or if you just come into town and you're taking a tour of the Speedway, that tour ends right here at the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. So you get modern era and the history of our sport, and I don't think any of us should discount those who came before us, blazed the trails of our sport, and now as caretakers of either the race cars or the sport in general, it's incumbent on us to continue to look to ways to grow it and keep it stable.